Welcome back to my channel. I'm Karina Rabin, a certified personal trainer and a nutrition coach. And today we're going to learn about macronutrients. What are they? How do you count them? How do you track them? How do you learn about them? Where are they? How do you find them? And why are they so important? Those are the questions I'm going to answer for you today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm a mom of 2 boys, and I teach you on how to get fit over 40. Let's get right into it. Macronutrients. It is protein, carbohydrates, and fat. 3 things. Protein is animal. It makes your muscles grow. Carbohydrates is anything that gives you energy, such as vegetables, fruit, bagels, cereal, potato chips, sweet potato, brown rice, but not all carbs are made equal. And fat, such as bacon, salmon, avocado, canola oil, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, and again, not all fat is made equal. And so you have to watch out. This is why macros are so important, because they're not all made equal. Some macros are better than others. Okay, let's start with protein. I pulled out some of my protein I have in the house. Tilapia, chicken thighs, eggs, and frozen Mahi Mahi. I always buy fish frozen. That way it can just sit in my refrigerator and it's just easier other than buying it fresh. But I'm not protein or any food fresh is best. Okay, this is not frozen tilapia, but it is packaged really tightly sealed. And you will notice if you turn it around, it shows this has 60 grams of sodium. And if we were to compare it to the frozen Mahi Mahi, which has 160 grams of sodium, just to kind of give you a difference. So when something is higher in sodium, that means it is more processed than if it doesn't have sodium. Because this is frozen, they had to put some chemicals into it in order for it to last through 2023. And this fish expires, I believe, today, and so I never got to make it. Used by October 13th. So today's the last day I might end up making it, okay? So that's the difference. This expires today. This expires a year from now. This is considered processed, and this is considered not processed, but a little bit because it still has 60 grams of sodium. If you were to buy it fresh from the market, it would be 0. But we would never know because the fresh fish at the market does not give you any numbers. Okay, so that's the difference. All right, but let's get into the protein. So I'm gonna turn this around one more time just to show you the macronutrients for protein. The macronutrients from protein, let's start from the top. This fish, 1 portion is 4 ounces or 113 grams. I always weigh my food in grams because it just makes it more accurate. This means this raw fish, 113 grams, has 23 grams of protein. Now, how do you track 23 grams of protein? Well, one way to track is by getting a notepad and writing it down. Tilapia, 113 grams is 23 protein. Okay, that might be meal number 3, which is lunch. Now, if I were to constantly keep a notepad like this, I would make sure it's much larger than this little one that I've grabbed for this video. Okay, so the macronutrient is 23 grams. The total fat is 2. The total carb is 0. Protein is 23. Because protein is higher than the carbohydrate or the fat, it makes this item a protein. So you always want to look at this number, protein, carbohydrate, and fat, but don't forget to take a look at the sodium because this is also important. A lot of people add too much salt into their diet, and you really want to stay as close to 1,500 as possible for the day, not per food, for the day. Okay, so this tilapia has 23 grams of protein. We wrote it down. I personally don't enjoy keeping a track on paper, and so that's why I use a food tracking app called First Form that I will mention at the end of this video. Now let's take a look at Mahi Mahi. Mahi Mahi is also 113 grams per portion. It is measured when it's thawed, not frozen. It would tell you if the weight was frozen. So that means the weight is not frozen. It's 100 calories for one serving. Total fat is 0.5. Sodium is 160. Carbohydrates is 0. Protein is 22 grams. Because the protein is higher than the other macronutrients, it makes this item a protein macronutrient. Let's say we have tilapia for lunch. We're going to have mahi mahi for dinner. So I'm going to write here M5 dinner. And it was mahi 22p. Okay, so far for lunch and dinner we had 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 2 is 5. We've had 45 grams for the day. Okay, that's fish. Let's say you also had eggs for breakfast. Okay, let's say you also had eggs for breakfast. Because so far I have lunch and dinner. Eggs, let's open this up. Here's a label for eggs. 70 calories for one egg. Total fat, 5 grams. One egg has 70 grams of sodium. It has 0 grams of carbohydrate. And it has 6 grams of protein. Now, I don't know about you, but, oh, that sucks. But I enjoy having 2 eggs when I have eggs. Sometimes I mix it up and I have eggs plus egg white. So let's say you decide to have just 2 eggs for breakfast. 2 eggs makes it 140 calories. 6 times 2 is 12. So for breakfast, meal one, okay, you have 12 grams eggs. Okay, 12 grams. 45 plus 12 makes it 57 for the day so far. 57 you've had for the day if you only had 3 meals. Now, let's say that 2 eggs was not filling enough, or you want to have less sodium. You can do 1 egg and egg whites. If you take a look at the egg whites, 3 tablespoons of egg whites is 75 grams of sodium, but it has 0 grams of fat, where the egg has 5 grams of fat. So 1 egg has 5 grams of fat, but egg whites do not. So when you have 2 eggs for breakfast in the morning, you will also have 10 grams of fat that's going into your day. So a lot of times I prefer to choose egg white because it's 0 fat and it still gives me extra protein. So I can have 6 tablespoons, which is 2 servings of egg whites, and that would make my protein double. So it would be 10. Since this doesn't have a fat or a carbohydrate, it makes the egg whites a protein macronutrient. Okay? So let's say I notice that I am low on my protein. I have 2 eggs. I'm gonna add 2 portions of the egg whites and make this number 10. So I'll add 10 to my eggs here, which this will make 67 for the day. Okay, so I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner protein. Now the day has gone on and I'm still hungry, and so I'm gonna add some chicken into my diet. This is chicken thigh fillet. If you flip the chicken, we will see that 112 grams for 1 serving. Notice how every protein is the same amount of grams per portion. This makes chicken 150 calories. It has 8 grams of fat. If we were to have chicken breast, it would be less than 8. It has 95 grams of sodium, which is really low, 0 carbs, 20 grams of protein. Because this chicken has 20 grams of protein and it does not have any carbohydrates, and the fat is less than 20, it makes this chicken protein, but it's also considered a fat. So a chicken thigh fits into the protein and fat category. So if I was to have just 1 fillet, I'm gonna write down for snack, I had 20 grams of chicken. I also had 8 fat. This eggs also had, just to give you an idea, this eggs had 5 grams of fat, so I had 2 eggs, that makes it 10. So far for the day, I had 10 plus 10, 20 grams of fat, and take this 20, add to the 67, I had 87 grams of protein, okay? 87 grams of protein. Now that is how you calculate protein macros. I typically enjoy eating more protein than that. And last but not least, I would add a shake to my day, because after chewing 4 meals of chicken and fish twice, I don't feel like chewing any more animals, because chewing food gets just a lot of food. And so a lot of us tend to have a protein shake, either the formula protein or level 1 protein. Let me show you the label in the back. So formula 1 is 28 grams for 1 scoop. It has 3 grams of carbohydrates, only 1 gram of fat, and it has 20 grams of protein. If I was to add 20 to the 87, that would make my final day at 107, which is a really healthy number when you're trying to lose weight. But if you have level 1, or you enjoy level 1 a little bit more like I do, it has 7 grams of carbohydrate, and it has 23 grams of protein, so it has more protein. I often put this into my protein overnight oats, and so we would add 23 grams to our total, so this would make it 110, which is a little bit better than 107. But this is how you calculate protein macronutrients, okay? I feel like this video has gotten a little too long, and so that sums up our protein macronutrient. I will do another video for you for carbohydrates and fat. I just didn't want to make this video too long and confuse you. I just want you to start with protein. Now you have a better understanding how to count the protein. You probably now understand how to count the carbohydrates and the fat, okay? When I was saying in the beginning of the video that not all macronutrients are made equal, bacon, for example, is also a protein, but bacon is also a fat, and bacon is also considered processed. Eat whole foods most and try and stay away from proteins like bacon, cheese, dairy, almond milk. If you're struggling to meet your macros, or if you're struggling losing weight, then I want you to try going dairy-free to see if that works better for you. Not all of us can digest dairy very well, and so it's important to take a step back away from dairy for a few days just to see if you're one of those people that needs to stay away from dairy for a few days. If you can't stay away from dairy for more than 3 days, then guess what? You can always go back. I love sharing with you what works for me. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. But what works is that we all have to hit our macros, eat whole foods most, track the food, and stay consistent. Okay? Last but not least, you can probably understand that writing all this out is a pain in the you-know-what, and that is why I am in the First Form app where I track my macros and I track my calories, and I coach you in the app as well. There are many other apps out there in the market. Once you download an app and you tell the app your pertinent information, it will tell you what is your macros and how much you need to eat. That way you can track your food in an app and not have to walk around with a pen and paper. Okay? I hope this was very helpful. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below. If you're new to my channel, so please subscribe. Make sure you hit those notifications. That way you're always notified when I post a new video. If there's anything else you want me to teach you, leave me a comment below and I will create your video. But for now, I hope this was helpful. I hope you start tracking all your protein. Make sure you hit that protein, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.